Hey, this is John Bollinger with Premier Guitar, and you're watching Axes and Artifacts. And today I've got my friend Lloyd Nicely from Gruen Guitars here to tell you all you need to know about this beautiful coupling. Take it away!
Thank you, sir. This is a 1959 Fender Jazzmaster. This guitar was primarily built as a jazz guitar. It didn't take off as that. Actually became the main surf guitar of the 1960s.
Now in 59, is that the first year of the Jazzmaster?
58 is the first. Mid 58 was the first year for the Fender Jazzmaster. And this one is in a three-tone sunburst finish. And they also had these cool anodized aluminum pick guards.
Cool.
They had those until mid 59, and then they switched to the nitrocellulose tortoiseshell pick guard.
Cool. Very cool. So tell me more. Tell me about these mysterious switches.
Oh, well, it does have some mysterious switches going on. This guitar, when this is called the jazz circuit, and when this is disengaged, meaning the switch is down, you're gonna operate it exactly like you would any other guitar. You have a three-way toggle for your pickup selector, and you have a volume and a tone. So simple enough.
Boy, and it's amazing when I was playing it, when you had it in the middle position, how quiet it was. That 60 cycle hum just went away.
Yeah, the two soap bars can be, on their own, they can be quite noisy with the 60 cycle hum. But if you put them in the middle, then you've got a humbucker.
Yeah, and yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like the birth of the humbucker. Okay.
Exactly.
Sorry, man. Keep going.
No. When you engage this jazz circuit by pushing this switch upward, it's going to basically, it's going to disengage all of this. You're not going to be using any of this any longer. The bridge pickup is also no longer in play for that.
Cool.
So it's only going to be using the neck pickup, and when you switch that up, it's going to activate a capacitor, and you're going to have your volume and your tone here on these roller knobs.
Hey, let me take it off standby, and you can show the difference between the two. Here we go.
So this is the jazz circuit disengaged. You can flip this up. That's not going to do anything. So you're going to volume and tone up there.
Yeah, very cool.
So this particular guitar is going to feature a Rosewood Fingerboard, which is the only Fender instrument in 1958 that had a Rosewood Fingerboard. The Stratocaster and the Telecaster switched to that in 1959. And this would be considered a slab board, same as the 59, and they did slab board all the way to 62. After that, they went to a curved veneer board. These also have a clay dot inlay, and in 65 they switched to a perloid dot inlay.
Oh, cool. Now, where'd that rosewood come from?
This is a Brazilian rosewood slab
cool.
board, yeah.
Yeah, cool, man.
And, collectors and players alike and repairmen as well, prefer the slab board, particularly. It's easier to refret than a curved board. You have more material to work with on the board. Those veneer, that's why you'll see a lot of those. They're really thin, and a lot of times when someone refrets them, it will, the tang of the fret will be down into the maple of the board because they had to plane it so thin.
Right.
Whereas this has much more material to work with. They sound a little fuller, a little better to me, to my ears. I just think that they have a nicer sound and they feel better.
Cool. And that headstock, that's the first year of doing that slightly larger headstock?
Yeah, this is a medium size. It wouldn't be, 58 would have been the first year, but this is a medium size headstock. It's not quite as big as say the Stratocaster went in 1966.
Right.
And then all the way through the 70s. They
Yeah.
had that really big, ridiculous Yngwie Malmsteen
Right.
head.
Yeah, I've got a 66 with the fat head.
Yeah, they're cool.
Yeah.
They're real cool.
Yeah.
But that's a mid-size, and of course this one's going to have the earliest spaghetti logo with the little wind symbols on both sides.
Cool. Now the bridge, I think the bridge is kind of the Achilles heel of this guitar.
The bridge on this guitar is not the best design. It's a little bit tricky. It does move back and forth with the tremolo. We don't have the bar in it at the moment. But this is a Fender floating tremolo that they used on these guitars, and they also used this on the Fender Jaguar, which debuted in 1962. But these are floating tremolo, and they also, if you get these from 58, 59, and 60, they'll have a Pat Pending
cool.
thing on the bridge there. In 61, late 61, they got a patent number.
Oh, cool.
But they tend to, if they're not set up properly, they tend to, you can kind of move these around in the saddle, these barrel saddles. A lot of people will replace those with Fender Mustang saddles. They're a little bit too large to intonate it correctly, but it'll do the trick.
Yeah, and that one actually is, it's set up great. It's just that model.
Yeah.
Kind of, that's what gets me about it.
That's kind of the thing about but this guitar was set up and refretted at our shop.
Yeah, plays great. Now, back when this came out, it was the most expensive guitar Fender made.
It was. It was more expensive than the Fender Stratocaster, more expensive than the Fender Telecaster.
Yeah, it's crazy how that was set up to be a jazz guitar and just did not. I don't know if I think Joe Pass did like an album with one, but I don't think of any other jazzer ever played them.
There's some videos of some guys using them, but basically they kind of, it didn't do the thing that the hollow guitars really do.
Right.
It sounds cool for different things, but it doesn't do the jazz thing, perfectly well. And in the 60s, it took off, of course, as the main surf guitar.
Right.
Only to be taken over by the Mosrites,
right.
that the Ventures were using. But it's funny because in the early 90s, this guitar was very coveted as being a guitar, Sonic Youth. Those guys are definitely using these. They have their own signature models out.
Nirvana,
Yeah, Kurt Cobain had one of these. Of course, his had humbucker. Or no, he had a Jaguar.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, he had a Jaguar with humbuckers. But, Jay Mascis from Dinosaur Jr.,
right.
he uses these constantly. He has 2 signature models out, I believe, now.
Yeah.
And the guy, Fu Manchu, the guy from Fu Manchu used one of these for a long time,
Yeah.
So they were really, they were really popular for that, and they still are.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny how, implied purpose,
goes out the window.
Right, yeah.
With this guitar, yeah.
Yeah, and it's funny how, tone just kind of dictates how you play. It takes you, playing a guitar like that just takes you to a different place. And,
exactly.
Something else. That's why we can't have just one. Okay, so that's a very cool guitar, and you are matching it today with this amp.
This is a Fender Super Reverb. This is 40 watts, has 4 10-inch speakers, 2 separate channels. This channel on this side is going to be your wet channel for reverb, and this channel over here is just a straight dry channel. And this one is from 1971. It's a silver face.
So is that the first year of the silver face?
That's going to be 67 is the first year.
Oh, really?
Silver face. Yeah.
What's the difference between the silver face and the black face?
There is not a huge difference in the early ones. The early silver face, of course, they're going to have a drip edge. But the circuitry is going to be about the same. They really started changing more, to me, in the mid-70s.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that amp sounds killer. When we came in, I had it wide open, and it's not a super loud 40 watts, but man, it'll
break up.
Yeah, it breaks up in a very cool, organic way. So tube-wise, 6L6s?
Yeah, it's running 2 6L6s for power. You have 4 12AX7s and 2 12AT7s, and it's a tube rectified amplifier as well.
Cool. Now I think the reissues are running solid state rectifier, but
they may be. I'm not for sure on that.
Yeah, I know they sound very different.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this also features those kickback legs.
This one does have kickback legs. This one is actually quite affordable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, you could spend. So what's this one going for?
You can get this amp right here for $1150. It's been gone through by our shop.
Wow.
Everything's good to go.
Yeah, you think about that. You could spend a lot. You could. It's funny. A reissue would cost you more.
Exactly.
Yeah. Again, the arbitrary world of vintage instruments. You never know. Well, man, thanks so much for joining us again.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it.
Yeah, let's do it again. John Bollinger, till next time.
Don't forget to sign up for PG Perks, your all-access pass to exclusive gear giveaways and discounts on PremierGuitar.com.